Welcome, team members, to another very important topic on back strains and muscle strains. I'm Jake Wolfenden, and I'll be your guide on this journey of keeping the one body part most take for granted until it doesn't work anymore. And that, of course, being your back. Those of you that have had back troubles at one point in your life realize just how big a deal it is to your physical well-being, but also to your mental well-being. A back injury can be extremely debilitating, therefore affecting your overall quality of life, both inside and outside of the workplace. And we all know that when your quality of life goes downhill, the psychological struggles are right there to make a cozy little room in your life. Now, in this lesson, I want to cut through a lot of the fluff, and I'm going to tell you straight up what helps organizations improve upon their work comp losses and, of course, injuries as it relates to back injuries and other musculoskeletal disorders. We're going to talk about stretch and flex routines, this idea of what it means to be an industrial athlete, and yes, that statement still applies to office-style personnel as well. I'm going to teach you a really fun and really effective group exercise that will get down to the most intricate details regarding each of the countless tasks that are found within the various departments of your operation. And finally, I'm going to give you some awesome cues that are sure to get you thinking about good technique as it relates to proper lifting practices. Are you ready for this? Because I can promise you, if you take ownership of these concepts and put them into practice, you will have a better quality of life. But you'll also have the opportunity to extend those healthy years both in and out of the workplace. We want you to end your career on your terms, not the terms of an unfortunate back injury that could have been prevented through good lifting practices over the course of your lifetime. I want to ask you a question, but before I do that, I'm going to give you a little insight into this idea of being an industrial athlete. Basically put, this is the simple acknowledgement that we perform tasks that require us to be physical. And if you think about how an athlete would prepare before a game or even a practice, what would they do? Why are they doing those things? So, either by yourself or in your groups, I want you to think about the following question and ask yourselves. Is there truth to the term industrial athlete as it relates to my routine job tasks? If so, write down the various physical tasks you are expected to perform and how an athlete might prepare before doing those same tasks, especially before routine tasks that last anywhere from several minutes to hours at a time. Office workers, I promise you, you fit into this as well. So pause the video now and get back to me when you're done. Welcome back. I don't know how your discussion went or how you may have processed through these questions by yourself, but I would guess some of you struggled to think of yourself as an industrial athlete. Though there are varying degrees of reality within this term, I would argue that all of you fit into this category from time to time. Some are occasional moments throughout the course of a year, while others are all day, every day, both equally important as it relates to your approach before these tasks ever start. Now, this is where a stretch and flex program comes in. I could take you through the vast amount of data that shows how effective stretch and flex programs can be, from the cost savings in workers' comp, how the recovery time is cut in half when injuries do occur, and how workers report feeling better both during and after their shifts. There's a reason why you'll find the biggest contractors in America lining up their subcontractors each and every morning to take part in this daily ritual. It just works, and I highly encourage it. And as a little side tip, it also gives managers and supervisors the opportunity to note any injuries or range of motion issues with their staff before the shift starts. Much of this can be seen when they're stretching. When you hear the oohs and the ahs on a Monday morning, you can address a possible issue that occurred over the weekend before it's exacerbated over the course of the workday. There are plenty of free resources on the internet if you'd like to find a program that fits for your organization, but as you can see, I highly recommend it. Feel free to reach out if you need any direction finding these resources. All right, it's exercise time. No, not the physical kind many of you are cringing at right now. The kind that's meant to challenge the mind a little and dig deeper into some of your operations. Okay, here we go. This exercise is called What Job Tasks Cause Pain? Either by yourself or in your group, please write out the various job functions that require you to be physical at work. I want you to start with the job functions that might require a higher degree of physical exertion. Once those are written out, I want you to discuss the physical movements required to perform the task. An example, if you're on a lawn crew and you weed eat most of the day, I want you to discuss the body parts involved with that operation, as well as the potential injuries that could occur as a result of those processes. Once you've identified the job function and the potential hazards, I want you to write out ways you would warm up before conducting that job duty, thinking like an athlete again. I also want you to think about ways you might need to alter that job function throughout a normal shift so the repetitive nature of the hazard is limited. An example, this same employee who weed eats all day may switch to the riding mower every hour or so to give his or her back muscles a break from the physical demands of this task. Once you have all of this together, discuss with your groups or later on with your supervisor how you could improve the job hazards your job requires of you, especially those that create the potential for back injuries and other musculoskeletal disorders. Pause the video now and I'll see you in a few. My hope is that you were able to uncover some effective ways to improve the safety of your back and muscular system. It really is a very effective exercise that details some job-specific things you can do to protect yourself from typical strains and sprains. Now, let's get a little deeper into back injuries and safe lifting techniques. Most back injuries occur when the soft tissue, which is also known as muscle, that supports your vertebrae becomes damaged by overuse or too much stress, typically from lifting beyond what your body can handle, or in a way that overstresses one muscle group or vertebrae due to poor technique. Over the years, our muscles experience small tears and injuries as a result of overuse. As these tears heal, scar tissue grows to bridge the gap between old and new muscle. However, scar tissue is weak, not as flexible, and can easily be torn again, creating weak links in your muscles. So, that being said, the most basic rule to keeping a healthy back is never lift more than what your body can handle. We all have limits, and usually, if we're honest with ourselves, we know those limits. As in many cases with safety, we put a product or production over our own well-being and try to get the job done at the expense of our health. Be honest with yourself, check your ego and stay within your lifting limits, or take the time to get a team member to help with the lift. This is also true at home. Remember, these smaller injuries are typically a sum of several other small tears that have occurred over time, meaning every time you lift a child, a laundry basket, or a bag of dog food, every lift matters, and so does your technique. The best and most basic recommendations I can give you when lifting are as follows. Number one, never allow your back to arch. This means to always maintain a neutral spine, which is also known as maintaining a flat back. Number two, widen your foot stance when picking something up to accommodate flexibility issues and old injuries. The wide stance helps to keep the weight of the load you're carrying in your legs and hips, and it also gets you closer to the ground so you're less likely to bend over. Number three, don't allow the weight of your body to shift forward to your toes. You should always feel the weight of your body in your heels during your lift. Number four, use your arms like straps as much as possible, allowing your legs to do the work. Oftentimes, when you pull with your arms, your back will start to bow, causing added stress. So again, think of your arms like straight straps. Number five, keep the weight of the load close to your body so the weight isn't pulling you forward and forcing your back to bow. Number six, continue to allow the spine to do its job, which is to stay in a straight line and keep your vertebrae stacked in a strong position. As soon as your spine starts to lose that neutral or straight position, added stress is being applied to certain discs, and that's how they can end up getting herniated. Now, an important note to make is that all of these principles apply to both the lifting and the lowering of the load. Now, I hope you're ready for this next visual cue. I hope you all can have a good sense of humor with this, but more importantly, this visual cue has helped many employees think through what they and other coworkers look like during a lift. In fact, when I did an Olympic lifting seminar several years back, this was a cue they recommended coaches use with their athletes because of the easy association to poor lifting technique. And as you'll see here in just a minute, it's very memorable, and these are the mental cues we need to prevent ourselves and our teammates from having a debilitating back injury. And now, without further ado, please allow me to present to you your mascot of what not to do when lifting any object, the pooping dog. That's right. If you notice yourself or a teammate start to take on this posture during a lift, please remember, this is horrible technique. Don't be the pooping dog. As you digest the visual from the previous section, and as we wrap up, I want you to keep a few things in mind as you go on about your day, and whether that's at home or at work. So, some things to remember. Number one, know your physical capabilities, check your ego at the door, work within those limits, and communicate those limits to your teammates when you need to. Number two, use the tools, equipment, and processes available to you in order to minimize your exposure to heavy lifting. The best case scenario is to have an on-site ergonomic assessment done at your facility, so these processes and tools are site specific. Number three, remember that your body is designed to lift a certain way. We develop many bad lifting habits over the years. Practice good technique and use good technique. It's never too late to learn. Number four, a good diet, proper exercise, and hydration can help keep your body strong and able. Don't ever forget the importance of keeping the machine that is your body in prime shape, even if you're occasionally lifting things at the office or at home. Number five, remember that warming up before a shift can help prevent muscles from tearing. This goes for your office staff too, but the key is to always warm up before stretching, as the muscles could tear more easily. Number six, I want you to talk to your supervisor if you're in a position that exceeds your physical limits, and I want you to always be willing to ask for help. And finally, number seven, watch that posture. Remember your mascot for poor lifting technique, and keep each other accountable as you see poor lifting technique. I'm Jake Wolfenden, and it's always a pleasure to work with you all. Please remember that you can reach out to us with any questions you may have regarding this video or anything safety related. We love getting questions and feedback from our members. We are doing this for you, so we want to have your feedback on ways we can help you reach the safety goals you have for yourself and your team. I'll see you in the next one.